My premium selections yesterday on Patreon went 4-2. We're also hitting at 75% in our last 8 college basketball plays on that website as well. Link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. The University of Maryland takes on Marquette, and that's going to be a 1 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that matchup. The Terrapins are the 3-point favorite in that game. Totals at 149. And of course, we did see a half a point move toward Maryland in the early wagering. And we also saw movement upward on the total as well. Maryland open 2.5 up to -3. Total open 146 up to 149. 66% of the consensus are leaning toward Maryland. 59% now shaded toward the under. And at the moment, Marquette is plus 155 on the money line. Now, Marquette has failed to cover in 2 out of their last 4. They also rank 113th in scoring in the nation. They're also 204th in offensive field goal percentage on average per game as well. Now, Maryland, they're undefeated on the year. 7-0 straight up on the season. Top 25 in offensive rebounding. Anthony Cowan is averaging 16 points a game, 5 assists. And Jalen Smith, 14 points a game, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks for him. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Maryland's last 6 stayed under the number. Meanwhile, Marquette, 4-2 to the under in their last 6 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Maryland -3. And the under 149 in that game. Next matchup, GW taking on South Carolina, 2 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that contest. The Gamecocks are -13.5, total 139. We saw a half a point move towards South Carolina and movement downward on the total. The Gamecocks opened as the 13-point favorite. They're now -13.5. Total open 139.5, down to 139 even. 57% are leaning South Carolina. 77% shaded toward the under. Right now, George Washington is plus 720 on the money line. GW is also just 3-4 straight up on the year, failing to cover in 4 out of those 7 games. They're averaging just 67 points per contest, and they're shooting just 42% from the field. South Carolina, on the other side, 4-3 straight up on the year. Their defense is holding their opponents to just 37% from the field. A.J. Lawson is averaging 16 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Jair Bolden, 10 points a game, 4 rebounds for him. And when it comes to this total, GW's 4-3 to the under overall for the year. I'm going to lean South Carolina -13.5. And the under 139 in that matchup. Next game, Temple taking on Davidson, 4 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that matchup. Temple is the 2-point favorite. Totals at 135.5. We did see a half a point fade of Temple and movement upward on the total. The Owls open the betting as the 2.5-point favorite, down to -2. Total open 135 up to 135.5. 53% are leaning Temple, 85% shaded toward the under. Right now, Davidson is plus $1.15 on the money line. Davidson just 3-4 straight up on the year, and they failed to cover in 5 out of those 7 games. Temple on the other side, 5-1 straight up on the season. They rank in the top 40 in points allowed, top 10 in defensive field goal percentage. Quentin Rose is averaging 15 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals. Alani Moore, 13 points a game, 3 rebounds, 2 steals as well. Total-wise, Temple 5-1 to the under in their last 6. Meanwhile, 5 out of Davidson's last 7 stayed under the number as well. I'm going to lean Temple -2 and the under 135.5 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Sunday's college basketball action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 4-2 in our premium selections on that website yesterday. We're also hitting at 75% in our last 8 college basketball plays on that site as well. Now, what we do on that site is we have premium selections as low as one. Let's try that again. What we do on that site is we have premium selections as low as $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages on that site as well. And I'll tell you this much, my current record on Patreon is a lot better than it is on YouTube. And you can check out the current record for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. And at the end of this program right here on YouTube, I'm going to explain to you the difference between what I do here on YouTube and that Patreon page. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more free lines of personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got LaSalle taking on Villanova. Battle of Philadelphia, 6:30 Eastern tip-off in that matchup. Actually, Villanova kind of on the mainline suburbs. But anyway, Villanova is the 18-point favorite, total at 141. We did see a 1-point move toward Villanova and movement upward on the total. The Wildcats open -17 up to -18. Total open 140 up to 141. 57% are leaning Nova, 59% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Explorers of LaSalle are plus 1450 on the money line. Now, LaSalle's been pretty good against the number this year. They successfully covered the number in 5 out of their 6 games. They actually rank in the top 40 in offensive three-point percentage. That might keep them in this game as far as talent, skill, athleticism. They're not going to be able to out-physical Villanova, but if they can shoot from downtown, they'll be in good shape. They can at least stay in this game. Once again, LaSalle, top 40 in offensive three-point percentage. They're also top 20 in defending the three ball as well. Isaiah Dees is averaging 10 points a game, 2 rebounds, and Ed Croswell, 10 points, 7 rebounds for him. Now, Villanova has failed to cover in their last 2 straight. They rank 137th in offensive rebounding, and defensively, well, their opponents are shooting 34% from downtown, so that should fare very well for LaSalle backers. Now, total-wise, Nova 4-0 to the over in their last 4. Now, 3 out of LaSalle's last 3 games got over the number as well. I'm actually going to lean toward the underdog in this matchup here. Give me LaSalle plus 18 and the over 141 in that game. And I'm going to slide to my next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Wake Forest taking on Arizona. 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off in that game. The Wildcats are the 12-point favorite, total at 149. We did see a 1-point move toward Arizona and movement downward on the total. The Wildcats open 11 up to -12. Total open 152 down to 149. 63% are leaning Arizona. 68% shaded toward the under. Right now, Wake Forest is the $6 underdog on the money line. Now, Wake Forest, their offense is shooting 43% from the field. They've also failed to cover in their last 2 on the road. Arizona on the other side, 8-0 straight up on the year, undefeated thus far. 5-1 against the spread as the official home team. Zeke Nagy, 19 points a game, 7 rebounds for him. And Nico Mannion from Italy, 16 points a game, 6 assists from him. This Arizona squad, they're undefeated as the official home team, 6-0 straight up as the home team. Their offense is averaging 89 points per contest, which is good for top 5 in scoring on average per game in the country. Their offense is also shooting 54% from the field, and they're shooting 43% from downtown, which is unbelievable. Arizona, they could score 100 here tonight. Now, total-wise, Arizona 3-0 to the over in their last 3. Wake Forest 60% to the over in their last 5. I'm going to lean Arizona laying the dozen and the over 149 in that matchup. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again, we are hitting at 75% in our last 8 college basketball plays on that website. I like Arizona, -12 over 149. LaSalle plus 18 over 141. Temple -2 under 135.5. South Carolina -13.5 under 139. And last but certainly not least, I like Maryland -3 and the under 149 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage, where we went 4-2 in our premium selections on that website yesterday. Shout out to Real Hicks for Love, Gambling Junkie, Cassie Morton, Hyman Moore, Creamy Caramel, Serd Hog 1, Demetrius Milonis, Marshall Sports, Chibaku Tensei, Ninji Chris, Craig Middlestein, and last but certainly not least, shout out to Ampros NBA legend All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage, where once again, we went 4-2 in our premium selections on that site yesterday. We're also hitting at 75% in our last 8 college basketball tier plays. Now, a lot of folks who ask me, well, Brock, what's the difference between what you're doing here on YouTube and your Patreon page? Aren't I getting the same information? Well, the difference is this. What we do here on YouTube is we handicap every single game on the board, or close to every single game on the board, both the side and the total. And I'll tell you this much. If you were to bet your hard-earned money on every single game on the board, side and total, you're guaranteed to lose in the long run. And as a matter of fact, you're probably going to end up losing in the short run as well. The books are way too smart. They're way too sharp. They have so much information. They know a lot more than you do. And they know more than I do. If I were to bet every game on the board, and the math is always against you. You just cannot beat math. So what we do on the Patreon page is we really narrow it down and focus in on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They're high percentage selections. They're games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much, my current record on Patreon is a whole lot better than it is handicapping every single game on YouTube, side and total. And you can actually check out my current Patreon record for free right now. All you have to do is click the link in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for tuning in right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you on patreon.com/BrockPage.